Silhouette heads, placed upon a grotesque plain, they've prepared our beds, for the mind asleep, drift unto the mindless terrain. The pale dream, a black and white nightmare, we enter its gleam, for we are the few on the path to nowhere. A vague-sided construct of the dull bleak imagery, of which before us obstruct, by their means prevent us from reaching divinity. Our lives are their canvas, and we are simply simple subject matter, for they know no practice, in which excels beyond the simpler latter. A portrait with no contrast, who dares to call it abstract? For we are reaped from that in which vast, to appeal simple minds, silhouette intact. Painted people controlled, in the name of pale reason, a colour world untold, for we fall before the stolen season. Who is he who shapes from the outskirts of reality the world we see a world to be of unholy impurity? The man to call the fatal brawl, placed upon us all and left to fall. The man is called the Manzy's name, rules us all in a land freakishly untamed, subject to failure for his own prosperity, monetary gain at the loss of humanity. He pulls the strings, we live by his rule. Only through death we realize by his hands we were made a fool. Marching fleets, the streets untamed, the stomping feet, now sheets inflamed, the battle cry, for die to see, the dreadful lie, for by to be. In its center, fearful men, the loss endure, tearful then, the devil's game, the front to pawn, the blatant shame, the soul's withdrawn. War and all, its basic construct, call to fall and deconstruct. For there's no victor amongst the men in green, the only winner he who spectates the scene. Orchestrator, spectator to all, dictator, incinerator who call. He suffers no loss, unlike that of his men, for he moves them across like pawns on a chessboard, and then, if he falls short, he devises a strategy to fully extort his artillery at the hands of the enemy. War is a mind game, a live-action chess match. The concept's the same, but not as easy to catch, for there are no do-overs. Men can't be put back on the board, so they send you soldiers like expendable pawns, just another horde. There really is no winner among the many pieces, only for the player, the ruler, who dare never ceases to pay the ultimate prices at the lively cost of others, vain sacrifices, the loss of sons and brothers. He must be truly heartless to extort lives, tossed into the abyss, careless and cruel he connives, discards them in the wayside, in hopes that he may rule us all, through loss of men for power and pride, which in the end will only bring his own downfall. A world estranged from moral compass, the mind deranged to nothingness, a tilted tower barely able to stand, the will to power, nothing more at hand. A mindless rat race, who's the first to see, stare into the face of this place of tainted imagery. See yourself king, rule this very land, as it falls to nothing, since barely able to stand. Are you satisfied with all you achieved? Spent your whole life on this ride, only to be deceived. Your life's almost over. Did you feel like a king? Yes, you found yourself closure. Does it mean anything? Who's next to scour? Climb the tilted tower of lust, the lust for power. Sacrifice all that you trust. For the call to attain, spend your life fixated, trying hard to obtain that in which stated. You spend your whole lives climbing the tilted tower, only to realize as you meet your final hour, you never really lived at all. You took all for granted, and so I ask you once more, did you get everything you wanted? Did you see all that they said you would? Did you be all that they said you could? Did you feel all that you longed for? Was it real, or just a shortcut to death's door? Are you satisfied with the life you have led? Are you gratified for the path you had tread? Was it worth the journey, or was it all a mistake? To all others, listen closely. Is this truly the path you want to take? The irony of society, the reason we're still around, for the very need of money, is what keeps us shackled bound. For the meaning of freedom comes at a hefty cost, for you can't rule your own kingdom without livelihood lost. You can own a company, or have money, power, and fame, but you're still ruled by society, just a pawn in its game. To truly break away and have no outer interference, one must first fade away, and I mean complete disappearance. No one to answer to, no responsibilities to uphold, no payments due, no laws keeping you controlled. In order to attain comes at the cost of all you own. To relocate to uncharted plains, no settlements, just you alone. It really begs the question, is that truly freeing? Yes, in definition, but what about emotion? Is freedom a concept or a feeling? There are those who feel free just being around friends and family, and those who, in order to be free, must forego completely. Either way, it's a matter of perspective. Both have cons, both have pros. The subject of freedom is one in which subjective, varying in opinion, but the same thing goes. Just as there's no order without chaos, there's no freedom without captivity, for it comes with a great loss in order to obtain a victory. So is freedom really real, or is it just an idea, a way of life, or just the way you feel, or perhaps the unmentioned latter, I fear? So who's to say the part you play, in life you lay, in strife you stray, from night to day you waste away, is right of way to taste dismay. In work or school, the jerks who rule, in wrong they guide along their side, in means of gain your lives they drain. Mold the children, old but still then, time is lost, slime who cost. You your freedom, through you see them, after the fact, too late to react. Regret is only, upset and lonely. Play the slave, they will deprave. Free yourself now, if only I knew how. What is death? The loss of life, in which we mourn. Since the very first breath, we make way, since the day we're born. Brought into this life, only to eventually reach our downfall. Facing constant strife, this is not the life I asked for. Love and happiness, smothered in pain. A world of bitter emptiness, a soulless plain. Merciless and cruel, and so you knock on heaven's door, to escape the sorrowful cesspool, the only way in which you'll get what you're looking for. Life, or so it's called, comes at a hefty cost, though at times you're enthralled, only to realize you're still lost. It holds without clue, while the others walk by, your depths far overdue, till the moment you die. For all the goodness and charity, love and serenity, there's wickedness, obscurity, hatred and inhumanity. There is not only one or the other, nor time to rest, brother against brother, until death does as does best. Most people of today walk about like slaves, wasting their life away, only to sooner meet their graves. What is living? We don't know anymore. Life always giving, but we just shut the door. Present an opportunity for love, happiness, and fun, and we won't see as negativity renders positivity outdone. Life always wins, as we're chained to its walls, and death always grins, as we easily fall into his claws. Unable to break free until death do us part, for some it's liberty, as their life had yet to start. Start living, I mean, to fully delve into it all, the lively scene beyond this treacherous wall. It's all a test of strength and character, for we cannot rest, as we have much of reality to endure. What of the promise? Life is harmonious. All I see is vast nothingness, a treacherous, atrocious abyss. War, murder, thievery, and famine, corruption, pollution, extortion, and more. The lines of tranquility are looking thin, as all befall as man has in store. A will to power, the world and its so-called glory, endless reason to cower as we meet the tragic end of the story. The story of life empowered by fear as a means of control, inducting authority, inflicting pain, the devil's sneer, ruling us all in the name of prosperity. In search of love, in search of truth, though not enough, the mind of youth, I fool myself daily as I lack understanding. Naively, braily, I see dots of everything. Ironic, eh? I see past the fine line, but can't connect the dots anyway. I still search for a sign, a direction to follow, a path to see, myself overcome the hollow heart within me. The mind of youth, I've come to learn, is but a stranger to the truth. I desperately yearn, soul of a dead man, mind of a clown, heart barely beating as it rarely can. I watch myself drown, sinking down below the waters of treachery, as being led by all I know. That's all I've come to be. When hatred fills your mind, engulfed from within your heart, in a blaze you'll soon find you tore yourself apart. The fiery hatred in your soul slowly consumes you throughout your mind, heart, and even body as a whole, until there's nothing left but scattered ash residue. The only small at first, candlelit flame, size and shape of a tear. Any second you could burst, and I'm in for the worst, I fear. The foolish wickedness and greed of men, lost in their abyss, reaped from me again. My heart and soul, my lustful life, they took control, neck to knife. Wielding three, yielding me in the street openly, as well they punch, choke, and kick. My head now spinning, I'm feeling sick. Fucking South Africa, rainbow nation, heartless abyss, just degradation. That's all it is, just nothingness. The soulless men, heart's emptiness. Consciousness doesn't feel. Innocence isn't real. Where's the beauty? Where's the truth? As you can see, not even the youth know such things, not a bit. This country's but a heartless pit. A modern-day Babylon, the hearts of truth now forgone. The cops are there just for show. Lawless life is all we know. The infrastructure's failing. The government's derailing. Schools they're rioting. Slowly but surely this country's coming to nothing. It doesn't take a genius to see that is our reality. Corruption and poverty with the loss of humanity. There's nothing left for us, is there? The saddest part is that no one even seems to care. Answer me this. Is there nothing more than this nothingness? This heartless abyss in which we dwell. The emptiness, a living hell. In part we made as a society. Now souls degrade in its entirety. By our construct we deconstruct. All we've worked for we now obstruct. Preventing progress, abolishing life. No wonder these people pick up a knife. It's all they've known, it's all they're shown. Neglected life, now faultily grown. There is no law, there is no order, as the institutes fall into complete disorder. Who's to blame? The men in power. They're all the same, that climb the tower. The path of greed, the tower of lust. For as they lead, then follow we must. They set the example, they have a voice, the country governed by their choice. However they act, we reenact. In order to survive, we think it's fact. This country now barely intact. How long until we finally react? A dark inner being, far from what the world is seeing, delves deeper into our soul, reaching deep into our souls with these dreadful devil claws. A man behind the mask, in a mutilation his only task, corrupting us since young, tying knots until we're hung. It begs the question or ideal, is a saintly man truly real? For we all know only sin, corrupting us from out within. The foggy, chilly, dewy, damp, distilled air of the cold dark winter morning caressing my hair, instilled with dear-dyed droplets, tear-eye sockets we bear. Tainted thoughts of painted fraught instill a chill surreal, will conceal feel of the scarlet debonair. A world of grey in heart and soul, spiritual though virtual still. Superstition takes control, intuition and ambition at a standstill. Who's to say we mold our surroundings, or rather our surroundings mold we? We live to see many things, but are they truly as meant to be? In a world of grey my eyes on skies, but do I see it as a sign of reflect? For it bears no glare in the heart that it lies, so the least it could do is project. What we make of our lives and we make of this world is solely based on incentive and perspective, but we don't realize of all that it's fold, our morale is but solely subjective. And so I ask once more, do we mold the world, or does the world mold we? Much like before, a heart so cold I'm filled by a world of distilled misery. Spiraling silhouettes stow away, stranded on an oblique canvas, splattered on a crumbling paper tray, dripping with a brush of my madness. Simply an artist's reflection, though the soul without glow, therefore an ill-thought perplexion, for there's nothing in light of show. The dripping diameter in which we circle for centuries, barely do the cycles alter, merely dried by a mouth-blown breeze. The artist shaping a shallow landscape, revolving an evolving civilization, though the subject in need of escape, for the involving of a devolving aggravation. Painted tainted smudges, overlapping outlines now ominous, canvas now a shapeless abyss, how can we trace through the darkness? With time we find, as all fades by, with absent mind we dare not try. Preserve integrity and authenticity in art, instead embrace atrocity with steady loss of heart. All feels empty for a recurring disposition, for a loss of creativity renders a pale grey vision. Acceptance for stupidity, simplicity and mockery, as it's all we've come to see. No individuality in personality, no evolving in style, format or sound, for in fear of trial for something uniquely profound. This way works fine, why should it change? Why work for divine when you can settle for derange? It's easy to make, it's easy to comprehend. Why an otherworldly take when you can condescend a trend? The so-called artist will not try, therefore we're only exposed to mediocrity, and yet you wonder why we live in such a mundane society. How can we interpret with an absence of feeling beyond the simplicit, vague thought images we're seeing? Art is a reflection of society, society a product of art's creation. How can we transcend what we see if only met with the loss of fascination?